Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to create countries application with ReactJS and Material UI. To have a better understanding of what we are going to build, let's have a look at the demo right now. So the application we are going to build with Material UI and React is going to be very simple. Here we can see all the regions we have: Africa, Americas, Europe and Asia. If I click on Americas, we will see all the countries in Americas region, and we can see their population in region and name and flag, and we can pick another region right here, let's say Africa, and we will see all the countries for Africa. Again, it's going to be very simple, and you will learn how to fetch data from this REST countries API and create this nice looking application with me. I hope you liked the demo. If this is your first time watching, my name is Usman. I'm a self-taught web developer and I make tutorials about web development topics. And if that's something that you like and you want to learn more about, I recommend you subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Let's now open our favorite code editor and start creating the project from scratch. Alright, so I have installed a brand new project using npx create React app, and here we have the folder structure, and I have included a folder called assets right here where you will find the images, and they will be available to you in the description below the video. So I have installed a brand new project using npx create React app, and here inside the source folder I have a folder called assets, and here we will store the images that we will need for the regions, and they will be available to you in the description below the video, so you will be able to download them and use them as well. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I will open a terminal right here, and I'm going to install the required packages we will need for this project. So first one is axios, so I'm going to say npm install axios, and I will install axios, and we will use Material UI for building this application, and we're going to install this Material UI library by following the instructions on the installation page. So after axios is installed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this instruction right here, and I'm going to paste it right here in the terminal. And after I have done this, we will also install something else. We will install the icons, the SVG icons. Okay. Although I don't think we will use icons, but let's install them in case we will need them. So after this package is installed, I'm going to paste this command and we will install material icons. All right, so I'm going to paste it and I'm going to hit enter. And after that, what we need to do also is, because Material UI uses Roboto font, we'll have to paste this link right here inside our public folder and the index.html somewhere below the manifest.json link. So right here, and let's also make sure we include another link below, just to be sure we have everything done correctly. Okay, and we're going to change the title right here to countries app. Okay, so I'm going to say countries app right here, and I will save this file and I will close it and we will not touch it anymore. Okay, now this package is being installed, and what we're going to do is we will start creating our folder structure. So I'm going to make a folder here called components. So inside the components folder we will have 3 components. So I'm going to say country picker.jsx, that will be the page where we'll pick, actually it's going to be region picker, so I'm going to say region picker. All right, so region picker JSX, and we will have countries countries.jsx. So countries.jsx will show all the countries and region will show the regions. And here we will also have a component called navbar.jsx. All right. And inside the app.js, let's first of all remove this logo import and import and leave it like that. Okay. And let's convert this function into an arrow function. So const app equals function and an arrow here. Okay. And let's delete everything inside the div with the class name of app. And let's import, so import React. So from React, we will use useState. Okay. This hook we will use inside our app.js. And what we're going to do now is we're going to start our server. So I'm going to save this file and I'm going to say, first of all, clear and then npm start. And that will open my development server on localhost 3000 by default. So if we wait a little bit, we will see a new tab appearing right here in the browser. And we'll see our application, which is going to be an empty screen because we deleted everything inside app.js. Now, after Material UI is being installed, we can go to components, and the first component we're going to need will be the Nav Bar. So that's an Appbar according to Material UI. And I'm going to do the following right now. I'm going to search for Appbar, and we will need this basic Appbar right here. And I'm gonna just copy everything from here. Just copy the source code, and I'm gonna go to my Nav Bar and I'm gonna paste it right here. And I will just change, I will remove the button right here, and I will change this to countries app, and that's gonna be H5. And I'm gonna remove also the button import right here. All right, and I'm gonna save this file, and inside app.js, I'm gonna import this. So I'm gonna say import, so it's called Appbar, button Appbar. So let's change this. All right, so let's say const navbar. So const navbar equals an arrow function, and we're gonna export, so export default navbar from here. All right, and we're gonna save this and we will import navbar. So I'm gonna say navbar, and it will auto import it. And right here I'm gonna say nav, just like that. And let's save this and see what we have inside the browser. And we'll see the nav bar appearing any moment after it's saved. So let it compile first and we'll see what we have. All right, it's compiled, and now we can see our nav bar right here. So countries app. Okay, looks amazing to me. All right, so after we have done the nav bar, what we can do now, we can work on the region picker page. So first of all, I'm gonna say RFCA. I'm gonna create a component called region picker functional component, and I'm gonna import my app CSS. So I'm gonna say import app CSS. Okay, and after that I'm gonna import the images I will need. Okay, so I'm gonna say import Africa image from dot slash dot slash, so dot slash assets, and that's going to be Africa image dot png, I think. Let's see if it's png. Yeah, it's png. And so it's png right here, I think. Yeah, and then we're gonna say import America image from dot assets Americas .png, and import Asia image from assets Asia, and I think Asia is PNG as well. So let's say PNG, and import Europe image from dot slash assets slash Europe .png. All right. And now what we're gonna need is we will need a component from Material UI inside this div right here. And that component is called container. So we will search for container right here. And the container I'm gonna grab is basically this one right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy and paste this code right here. Okay. And I'm gonna paste it inside the return. So let me just check something. So we're gonna paste it inside this div right here. Actually, let's paste it first and then just copy this piece of code, and delete this and paste it inside the div right here. Okay. And basically what we're gonna do is inside this box, inside this box we will paste our content. And basically the box will have some additional styling. We will have a min height of 90 VH and display of flex items. Okay, so let me just quickly add the styles to the SX prop right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say min height right here. So min height will be 90 VH for this. And we will also have a display, so display of flex, align items to the center, and justify content to the center. And we will also have a width, so width of 100%, and we're gonna have a little bit of margin here. So margin will be 10 pixels, top and bottom, and 0 left and right. All right, after we have styled this box, we will have also another component right here inside the box. But let me show you what is this box right here. If I save this, we will not see anything yet because we have to import the components inside our app.js. So let's work on this right now. So inside the app.js file, let's first create a state. Basically, whenever we click on any of the regions, we will trigger the state, and that will render either the country component, country picker component, or region picker component or countries component. So I'm going to say const selected region set selected region, and that's going to be equal to useState, which is going to be null by default. Okay, and here I will create a couple of utility functions. So I'm going to say const on region pick handler. Okay, and that's going to be a function which will receive the region, and it's going to set selected region. So it's going to say set selected region to the region we have passed. Okay, and we can also say const clear selected region handler, and that's basically will be triggered when we click the choose another region button. So I'm going to say set selected region to be null again. Okay, so we will need those functions, and let's import our component. So I'm going to say import region picker, and we will have to create this countries component. So let's say RFCA and import our CSS first. So import, because we're gonna need this app CSS from here, and just save this and import it inside app.js. So import countries, so countries from components countries. Okay, and right here we will make a check. So basically when we have a selected region, we will render the countries component. So I'm going to say countries, else when we don't have a selected region, we will render the region picker component, just like that, and selected region. All right, and now if I save this, you will notice that we will have region picker shown to us, but here we have a problem with the assets. Doesn't exist. Okay, why it doesn't exist? Let's go to region picker and see what's the problem here. Africa image. Let's see what's the problem. So let's make this bigger, and Africa image is something wrong with it. So let's see. So assets, that PNG, it should fix it. Yeah, now it's okay. So we fix the problem, and we see this container right here, okay, from Material UI. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the background color of this to be white. Okay, so FFF, and after that we will pick a component right here called grid. So how this grid works is basically we have a grid container, parent container, and inside this grid we have other grids which are items, and we specify the props right here. We say SX, SM, MD, LG, and those additional props are about how much space they will take, basically the items inside this grid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the following. I will import grid right here inside the region picker. So I'm going to say import grid from muy grid. Let's see. No, it's not icons material, it's muy material grid, okay? And this grid, basically, we will use it right here inside the box. So we're gonna say grid, so grid, container, and we're gonna say spacing. So the spacing of the container inside the grid will be 1, okay? And the columns that this grid will take will be 12, so basically the whole page. And inside this grid, we will have our items. And I'm gonna say, so grid, that's gonna be an item. And on small screens, that will take the whole thing. On medium, on extra small, on small, it will take again the whole string, the whole screen. On medium screens, it will take half of the screen. Basically, we'll have 2 images side by side. And on large screens, it will also be 6. And inside this div, what we will have, a grid, we will have a div. And this div will basically have an image inside. So I'm going to say image source. Image source will be, let's provide the alt first. So I'm going to say alt. And this image. And we will also need the typography right here. So typography, import typography from Material UI. All right. And we will have below the image typography. Typography. And I'm going to say variant to be H4, let's say. And here that would be Africa, okay? And the image will be Africa image. And basically we're gonna paste this div a couple of times. We're gonna paste the whole thing a couple of times. So we'll paste this, and this one will be America's. America image, America's image. So I'm going to say America's image right here, and here we'll say America's, okay? Then again, we'll copy and paste, and I'm going to say Europe right here. So Europe, and the image will be Europe image. Okay, and then we'll also have Asia, I think. Asia, yeah. So Asia, and I'm gonna say Asia image right here. Okay. And I'll hit print here, and now I'm gonna save. And I will go to the browser. So it's being compiled right now. And I'm gonna open, and we will see this. Okay, so the images are too big at the moment. So what we can do, we can go to the app CSS right here. And we can specify, first of all, let's remove everything, and for each image we will say width 300 pixels and height 300 pixels. Okay, and hit save, and now we will notice that the images are small right here. Okay, and what we're gonna do is inside this container, we can say we can give this a class name right here. So I can say class name to be equal to region container. Okay, and this region container, we can specify some classes for it. So region/container, and that's gonna be with text align center, and we will notice that the text will move to the center. Okay, and let's provide this class name to all of the divs we have. So right here I'm gonna say class name, and here class name, and right here class name, and save, and we will see that everything will move to the center just like that. Okay, and I can say margin 50 pixels just like that, and border, I'm gonna say border 1 pixel solid, that's gonna be CCC, and I'm gonna say transition all 0.3 seconds ease, and let's say region container on hover, we want the border to be 1 pixel solid. Let's say we want some random color first, and then we're gonna change this to red. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this color right here for the red, and I'm gonna save. Now if we open, we will see that whenever we hover over those cards, we have this nice border transition effect. Okay, now this is ready at the moment, and what we need to implement now is, after clicking on those cards, to fetch the data for these regions and show all the countries for that region. So what's left right now is the following. We can go back to region picker right here, and from app.js we have to pass those functions we created as props to this component. So I'm gonna say on region picker handler equals on region picker handler. So I'm passing this function I created as a prop to this component, region picker. And then here I will destructure the props, so I will get this on region picker handler. Okay, so I'm gonna copy it and I will paste it right here. So I'm destructuring the props, and right here what we can do, we can use this function directly by assigning a handler, a click handler on this div right here, which holds the image and the typography. So I can say on click, so on click we'll fire a function, and we will say on region picker handler, and here we'll provide the region we want to fetch. So let's see the documentation and how they expect this. So they expect this with lowercase. So I'm gonna say Africa right here. Actually, let's test this. Let's copy this link right here, and let's paste it right here and see how they expect this to happen. So Europe is working. We can see the data coming back. Let's see Africa. Africa is as well working. and let's say Americas. Americas is working, and Asia is also working. So everything needs to be lowercase. So I'm gonna leave this open right here because we will need it, and go back to the region picker component. And I'm gonna paste this onClick handler. I'm gonna copy and paste it a couple of times inside the other divs. And here I would say Americas. So Americas. And right here we'll say Europe. And the final one right here will be Asia. Asia. Okay. Now hit print here, save this, and let's try it. So when we click on something right now, we should be able to see the empty screen, the other component we created, which is countries, JSX, this one. So I'm gonna click on Africa. Okay, it's not working. Let's see why. Okay, I'm clicking on this, it's not working. Let's see why. Oh, because we haven't saved the app.js. So let me do that. Click on Africa and we see countries component loading to us. Perfect. That's perfect, exactly what we want. Now we can start working on the countries component. So the countries component basically will be another div, another container holding a grid component. So first of all, let's do the following. Let's import some hooks we will need from React. So I'm going to say useState and useEffect right here. And I'm going to create a couple of state variables and functions to populate them. So I'm going to say const data, set data to be equal to useState, and that's going to be an empty array by default. I'm going to say const loading and set loading to be equal to useState false by default. I'm going to import axios, so I'm going to say import axios from axios, okay? And I'm going to also import that prop, which will pass this clear selected region handler to our component, because we'll have a button that will clear everything. So I'm going to say this to be equal to the same thing. So I'm going to pass this as a prop. Okay, and here I will destructure the props again. I'm gonna say clear selected region handler, and right here what we will do is inside this function component, we're going to say useEffect. So useEffect, so basically when the component is mounted to the DOM, we will do the following. Actually, we will also need to pass something else here. We will need to pass the selected region as well, because we will need this to fetch the data. So selected region will be equal to selected region, and import this prop as well. So I'm going to import the prop as well. And right here, we're going to say set loading to be true. And after that, we'll say axios. And we'll say method to be get. Okay. Method to be get. And the URL will be a template string. So template string, and we're going to copy this right here, right? So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it right here, but I will replace this Asia right here with the selected region prop we received. And then after that, basically we will have a .then block, and we will have the response, and we can console log the response.data. And we can say set data to be equal to response.data, and we'll have also a catch block. So catch error. If we have any error, we'll console log the error. So we are performing a standard fetch right here. And after that, we will also have finally. So dot finally, after we have successfully fetched the data or we have an error, we will just set the loading to be false. Okay. And we see that useEffect is complaining because we are missing a dependency selected region. So let's include that dependency right here. So I'm going to say selected region as a dependency. Now we can see what we have in the console. So let's save all files and let it compile and come back right here and open our inspect tools. And I'm gonna make this smaller. So you can see that when I'm making the screen smaller, those cards are shrinking. Basically they were 2, and when it becomes small, we can see just 1 card. And this is thanks to the Material UI grid system. We have some kind of error right here, but we can disregard this. So I can click on that and we can see that we are fetching the data back. Okay, we can see 59 results from the API coming. And now what is left is we need to show those cards with the countries. And the way we're gonna do this is basically, first of all, we're gonna import a component right here called linear progress. I think it was linear progress. Let's see. Okay, so we go to progress right here and we import. We're gonna import this linear progress right here. So inside the countries, we can paste that and we can say, so return. So inside the return, what we can do now is we can say, so return, and we're gonna return a container. So a container from Material UI, and that container will be fixed container. And let's import this container. So import container from MUI material container. And inside this container, we will perform a check. I'm gonna open curly braces and I'm gonna say, if it's loading, then what I want, if it's loading, I want to show a div with the class name of progress. And inside this progress, else we will show something else. But inside this div with the class name of progress, I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna say linear progress, and that's gonna be a color of primary. It's gonna be blue. Okay, so I'm gonna say primary, and now I'm gonna save this file and go back, and I will refresh. And for a fraction of a second, we will see this progress right here. And I believe you saw it. So if I click, we can see the progress right here. But let's style this thing and let's say progress. The progress will be with margin of 10 pixels, 0 top and bottom, and 0 left and right. Now we should be able to see this. So click and we see the progress bar, okay? This is exactly what we want. And basically after this If it's loading, show the linear progress, else show something else. We can directly use this other statement to provide the rest of the structure right here. So basically we will have a grid, okay, grid, and this grid will be container, grid container, spacing will be 3, okay, columns will be 12, and it's complaining because we haven't imported the grid. So let's say import grid from MUI material grid, okay. Now it's not complaining. We have to finish this. So here we can say SX, we can style this grid container. So I'm gonna say just a margin. So I want to give this a margin of 20 pixels top and bottom and 0 left and right. And this grid container will have our items, okay? But before that, let's also create the button. So I'm gonna say grid item XS 12, SM to be 12, MD to be 12, and LG on large screens. I want this grid item to take the whole thing. And inside this, we'll have a button, okay? A button, and this button will say pick another region. And that button will have a props. So let's say we will have color to be primary, okay, and variant to be contained. And so far, let's see, it's complaining because we need to import a button as well. So let's say button, import button from at MUI material button, just like that. And let's say, all right, so let's save now and let's see what we have. Come back to the browser and we can see our button, which is looking very nice. Now the only thing left to do is to display the cards with the countries, okay? So to achieve this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say basically say data.map, and we're gonna have a country right here, okay? And for each country, we will output a div. We'll output grid, so grid item, and I'm gonna say XS to be 12, SM to be 12, MD to be 6, and LG to be 6 right here. And I'm gonna say key to be, let's say we will have the country.name, country.name.common. Let's say country.name.common for the key. So country.name.common for the key. All right. We have a typo here. So country. And inside this grid item, we will paste the cart. So I'm gonna go to Material UI and I'm gonna search for cart, okay? The cart API. And we are just going to copy this right here. So the whole thing, so let's say cart So first of all, we will need the imports. So I'm gonna copy the imports and paste them right here. And I think we have one more import which I did not import, and that's typography. So let's import the typography as well. Okay. And I'm gonna say typography, come back right here and copy the whole thing. Okay. Cart up to here and paste it inside our grid item right here. And then basically what we need to do is to clear up something. So first of all, here we can say 500 for the max width. For the component image height, I can remove the height, no height. And here for the image, we can just say, let's see from the data that we are fetching. So if we open the browser again in here, we have this thing somewhere below right here. We have let's see, let's find it. Where are the images? The flags. Flag population flags. So we have a key called flags, and then we have PNG image. Okay, we can just say country dot flags dot PNG, and right here we can change this. We can actually remove card actions. We don't need card actions. And here we can say country country.name.common. So country.name.common. Okay. And here we can say typography backticks population, and that's gonna be, let's see, the population, where is it? Country, let's see, is directly population. Okay, country population. So country dot population, just like that. And after we save this, we should be able to see everything. So let's see what's happening right here, why it's complaining. Expression expected. Let's save. Compiling. Let's see what we have. Now we can see all the countries right here. All right, and that's looking amazing. So if I shrink this, we can see they are becoming smaller and smaller, and that looks amazing. What we can do, we can also just provide another stat right here. Let's say we can use which thing, I don't know. Maybe we can say population. So we are using the population. We can use region. We can use the region. So I can say typography, and here I can paste a region. And I can say country.region, just like that, and save this. Now we should be able to see the other information we have specified. So region, Africa. Now let's make this button work. So basically what we need to do is on the button, we can say on click. And when we click on this, we can just fire this clear selected region handler. So I can fire a function and I can paste this. And I can fire this function as well. Now, after I have done this and go back to the browser, we can see the data. But if I click the button, we are taken back to the other page we created, and I can click on Europe and we will see all the countries for Europe. And it's looking amazing. And we can pick another region again and we can see Asia, and we can test for Asia, it's working properly. And I can say Americas, and we can see all the countries for America. And this is it, what we have created today. We have used Material UI to create this beautiful application. We have learned how to fetch data from a REST API. And I hope you liked the video. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, and recommend this channel to your friends and become part of this fantastic community of front-end developers. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you again in the future.